Hello, my name's Adam, if you didn't already know, and today we're going to be thinking about how do we use art or colouring or drawing, whatever you want to call it, in order to respond to a Bible passage that we're going to read. This is a way of worshipping. It's a type of kind of worship. So a lot of people think of worship as being singing, but you can do this in drawing as well. And it's really easy. Anybody can do this. You don't need to know what you're doing or have an idea of how to draw or think of yourself as artistic. Anybody can do this. But in order to do this, you will need a few things. So you will need 2 pieces of paper. I've got just A4 paper, but you might want a really big piece of paper. That would be really cool. And then something to draw with. So I've got some whiteboard markers. So you could use pens, pencils, crayons, felt tips, that sort of thing. If you don't have those things, so 2 pieces of paper and something to draw with, pause the video and go and get them now. Excellent. All right then, so assuming you've all got what we need, the idea that we're going to do, so you can do this with absolutely anything. So we're going to do it with a Bible passage in a minute, but you can do this with a piece of music, you can do it with reading any other kind of book, watching a film or something on TV, or just on your own, just out of your own head, and see what emerges. But we're going to do a thing called taking a line for a walk. Now there's an artist called Paul Klee, there's his name, Paul Klee. And he had this idea that a drawing or a picture is essentially a line that's been taken for a walk. And what do we mean by that? Well, have a look down here a minute. Here's my piece of paper, and I've got a nice red pen. And taking a line for a walk is literally just putting your pen on the paper wherever you like and starting to walk around. So you can do some squiggles, loops. There's no right or wrong. Anything goes, whatever you think sounds good. You can cross over the lines, you can do some little spirals, zigzags, whatever comes into your mind, you can do. And when you're ready, you can stop. So there's my picture. And you could do anything with this. You could colour it in, you could leave it as it is, you can spin it around and look at it at different angles. What can you see in this picture? What do you see? This is my one, but I'd like you to have a quick go now. So I'm going to get rid of this, come back to me, my face. Hello. So get your first piece of paper ready and get your pen or pencil or whatever you're drawing with ready. And then put your pen on the paper and start taking your line for a walk. In your own time, just what shapes do you want to draw? Keep doing it. And I'm going to start saying some words. And when I say the word, I want you to kind of match the word in whatever it is your line is doing, yeah? So, whizzing around. What does your line do now? How about jumping up and down? Sliding down a hill. And slowly coming to rest at the bottom of the page. And stop. Lift your pen up and have a look at your picture. That was a very short one. You can do this for as long as you like. But that's the basic idea, okay? So put that piece of paper to one side. You can come back to that later. You can fill in the gaps, colour it in with all sorts of different colours, add to it, or leave it as it is, whatever you want to do. But what we're going to do now is I'm going to read a passage from this book. This is called the Jesus Storybook Bible. And it's written by Sally Lloyd-Jones and illustrated by Jago. And it's essentially a sort of a simpler version of many of the stories that are in the Bible. And the one that we're going to use today is the one that's right at the beginning of the Bible. So the story of how God created the world. So don't start colouring just yet, but get your fresh piece of paper and get one of your pens ready to go. And the first bit of the story is all about sort of emptiness and there being nothing in the world. So that's what your paper starts like. So look at your piece of paper first, just get used to this look of the paper. And then as I start reading, I'll tell you when to start drawing. So look at your piece of paper. In the beginning, there was nothing. Nothing to hear, nothing to feel, nothing to see. Only emptiness and darkness, and nothing but nothing. But God was there, and God had a wonderful plan. I'll take this emptiness, God said, and I'll fill it up. Out of the darkness, I'm going to make light, and out of the nothing, I'm going to make everything. Like a mummy bird flutters her wings over her eggs to help her babies hatch, God hovered over the deep, silent darkness. He was making life happen. God spoke, that's all. And whatever he said, it happened. So now you can put your pen on your paper and start taking your line for a walk. God said, "Hello, light." And light shone into the darkness. God called the light day and the darkness night. "You're good," God said. And they were. Keep moving that line around. Then God said, "Hello, sea." "Hello, sky." And a great space opened up, wide and deep and high. "You're good," God said. And they were. What's your line doing now? Then God said, "Hello, land." And there, splashing up through the oceans, came cliffs, mountains, sandy beaches. "You're good," God said, and they were. "Hello, trees," God said. "Hello, grass and flowers," and everything everywhere burst into life. He made buds bud, shoots shoot, flowers flower. "You're good," God said, and they were. "Hello, stars," God said. "Hello, sun, hello, moon." And whizzing into the darkness came fiery globes, spinning around and around, whirling orange and purple and golden planets. "You're good," God said, and they were. What's your line doing now? "Hello, birds," God said, and with a fluttering and flapping and chirping and singing, birds filled the skies. "Hello, fish," God said, and with a darting and dashing and wriggling and splashing, fish filled the seas. "You're good," God said, and they were. Then God said, "Hello, animals," and everyone came out to play. The earth was filled with noisy noises, growling and gobbling and snapping and snorting and happy scuffling. "You're good," God said, and they were. God saw all that he had made, and he loved them. And they were lovely because he loved them. But God saved the best for last. From the beginning, God had a shining dream in his heart. He would make people to share his forever happiness. They would be his children, and the world would be their perfect home. So God breathed life into Adam and Eve. When they opened their eyes, the first thing they ever saw was God's face. And when God saw them, he was like a new dad. "You look like me," he said. "You're the most beautiful thing I've ever made." God loved them with all of his heart, and they were lovely because he loved them. And Adam and Eve joined in the song of the stars and the streams and the wind in the trees, the wonderful song of love to the one who made them. Their hearts were filled with happiness, and nothing ever made them sad or lonely or sick or afraid. God looked at everything he had made. "Perfect," he said. And it was. But all the stars and the mountains and oceans and galaxies and everything were nothing compared to how much God loved his children. He would move heaven and earth to be near them, always. Whatever happened, whatever it cost him, he would always love them. And so it was that the wonderful love story began. So you can bring your line to an end and lift your pen off the paper. That's the end of the story. Well, it's actually the beginning of the story, but you know what I mean. And have a look at what you've drawn. What do you think of it? And what do you want to do with it? Do you want to keep it? Or do you want to scrumple it up and throw it away? That'll be fine. Do you want to get some other colours and start filling in the shapes that you've created? Or do you want to do the whole thing again? You might want to try it again and with a new line. Or you might want to try it without the line thing. Just listen to the story again and just draw the pictures that come to your mind. I hope you've enjoyed that. And I hope that you've learned that you can create art. You can colour, you can draw. Anybody can do this. So thanks for having a go. And maybe I'll see you again in another video. Bye for now.